This is a study that was done by a gentleman called Larry Keeley. And it was a longitudinal study. He did it over a 10-year period. And the question he asked was, how successful are innovation projects? And so, as he looked at this, the first thing he observed was there are different types of innovation. So he put the types of innovation into 10 categories. So these are the 10 different types of innovation that Larry Keeley saw from the Dublin Group people were investing in. Then he said, okay, how much investment is going into each of these areas? And this is what he saw. So he clustered this. The middle are offering, then business model, then customer experience. How much investment? Most of the investment centered around the offering. So if we were to look at your investments in R&D here and you were to follow this pattern, basically everybody in the room is trying to make their product faster, more robust, smaller, whatever the case is, and then you're trying to surround it with a system and services to really make it compelling. And you're trying to outdo your rivals in this investment. Then he said, where is the return coming from? Where's the ROI? And this is what he found. Investment, return on investment. So people are making huge bets, millions, billions of dollars of bets in trying to make their products faster, better, more robust, and nobody cares. He said that it's those companies that are investing on the outside, the business model and the customer experience, they're the ones that are enjoying the huge return on their innovation efforts. And he said it's not 80-20. 2% of the projects were generating 90% of the value. So let me talk about the winning strategic model. What can we do in this age of reformation, in this age of complexity, in this age of fast-paced change? How can we stay ahead and make sure we're successful? So the first thing is what I call this relationship life cycle. And if you've heard me speak before, you've heard this model, and I just keep harping on this. I really believe this is the key. And we come to this relationship life cycle when we change our perspective. Right now, what the industrial age gave us, this how to close every sale perspective, was a firm-centric view. And with a firm-centric view, what we have are prospects and customers. And the role of our sales force is to convert prospects to customers. But language matters. And embedded in language is perspective. And when you talk about prospects, when you talk about customers, immediately I'm going to ask you, whose prospects, whose customers, yours? So embedded in your language is your perspective. We said earlier, if we're going to be successful, we have to adopt the buyer's perspective. Rather than me sitting across from Don, trying to convince him to buy from me, I want to sit beside Don and help him. And that's a completely different model, different approach. So when we look at things from the buyer's perspective, there are actually 5 levels of relationship, not 2. All those people that we call prospects, that in your CRM, in your database, you have all these people that are prospects. They're not thinking of themselves as your prospects. They may not even be thinking about you. They're quite happy. They're doing millions of dollars, perhaps billions of dollars with their suppliers. You're just not one of them. So they see you as a stranger. When your salespeople are successful and convert them from prospects to customer, they haven't done the converting. The buyer is the one that does the converting. And they've converted you from stranger to supplier. So now you're a supplier. You're in their systems, you're logged as a supplier. In the past, this was the close. And from the vendor's perspective, this represented the culmination of effort. We started with investment, R&D, millions of dollars perhaps in this R&D. Then we packaged it with marketing. Then we educated the sales force with the features and the benefits. The sales force went into the marketplace and educated the customer agreed and took the product or the service. And we closed this long line of effort. We're done. Now we move on and we find somebody else. From the customer's perspective, they didn't see any of that effort. All of that effort that your firm invested means nothing to the customer. What they see now, when you close the business, is a whole bunch of effort on their part to actually make the product or service work for them. So now the work begins. This is not a time for you to check out, it's a time for you to check in. And in a sense, you're on trial. This is the trial phase. You made a promise. I bought from you based on that promise. Now let's see how you deliver. If you deliver below my expectations, because of your promise, your brand, I'm expecting this and you delivered this, you're out. I feel resentment toward you. If, however, I'm expecting this and you deliver this, wow, this is exciting. You've got my attention now. The challenge is, there's this dance. Sales is about promising the future. And the brighter the future, the more effective your salespeople are going to be. But if they paint such a bright picture that nobody could deliver that, you're in trouble. If they're so realistic that it's boring, you're in trouble. So there's this balancing act that they have to set the bar high enough that it's exciting, but low enough that your firm can jump over it consistently and never hit the bar, but get over it. Once you get over it, once you've delivered above my expectations, that moves the relationship to desired supplier. You've gone from a transactional relationship to an emotional one. Now I'm engaged. I'm going to come back. What else do you guys do? And the shift is from, okay, deliver your product or service, let's see how you do, kind of arm's length, to how can we work together? How can I help you in my firm? And this emotion is what opens the relationship. And this is the opportunity for us in the age of Reformation, is to use this desired supplier status as a platform to build a strategic relationship. We cannot build strategic relationships with our customers unless we first have an emotional relationship. We must have an emotional relationship first. That's what opens the door to a strategic one. But the transaction is the foundation, because this continuum is built on trust. And trust begins with a transaction. I'm gonna trust you, and I'm gonna give you my money, and I'm vulnerable. And if you come through, trust goes up. So the key here, and this is really the next part of this continuum, is not to ask the client to tell us what to do, but to ask the client for permission to follow them around. Now that I have this great relationship with you, do you mind if I move in and just watch you? You don't say it like that, but that's basically it. Because I want to understand your world, and you specifically. I have many customers, but you are a strategic customer. Meritocracy. So I'm investing in you, not in everybody else, because I want more customers like you. And so I want to follow you around and understand your world so I can see the emerging needs and I can create value there. When I've created value there, I want to find other people like you and promise them what I've done for you. And this really is where we're going next. As we move to a strategic relationship, the next level now is trusted advisor, where we've done such great work together, you're so consistent that I now open up to you in a way that is a strategic relationship. And this trusted advisor must be at a senior level. Okay? If you're a trusted advisor to a purchaser, that's not a trusted advisor. Okay? A trusted advisor must be at a strategic level. It must be with somebody who's concerned with the future of the organization.